In this video, we are going to see about the laboratory diagnosis, treatment, and the preventive vaccines which are given for chickenpox. In the previous video, we have seen about the features and epidemiology of the chickenpox. Chickenpox is caused by varicella zoster virus. It can cause both chickenpox and herpes zoster. Herpes zoster, which are both are caused by the same organisms. Epidemiological wise, the agent which is causing this is human alpha herpes virus 3. Primarily it causes chickenpox, and latent infection, it can lead to the formation of the herpes zoster infection. It is most common in immunocompromised patients, that is immunosuppressive therapy taking patients, and with older age group where the cell-mediated immunity is decreased. And then we have seen that it consists of two stages, pre-eruptive stage and eruptive stage. In eruptive stage, vesicular rash occurs at the day of the fever. Then pleomorphism is a feature of this chickenpox. Now we are going to see about the laboratory diagnosis. Laboratory diagnosis, varicella zoster virus DNA can be detected using PCR and cell culture methods. Then varicella zoster virus can be isolated. Varicella zoster virus can be isolated from the vesicular fluid, crest and saliva. CSF or other specimen can also be used to collect this varicella zoster virus. Then using direct immunofluorescence. Direct immunofluorescence, we can directly test this, but here it is less sensitivity to that of the PCR method which is used. Then detection of varicella zoster virus specific serum IgM antibodies, which can be detected in individuals, and screening of serology IgG antibodies. This is also a laboratory diagnosis to detect the presence of chickenpox. This detection of varicella zoster virus IgM antibodies and IgG antibodies is mostly in patients who are already infected with the chickenpox and now has these antibodies, IgG and IgM antibodies. This IgG antibodies is to access the immunity here. IgG antibodies is present in the individuals who got chickenpox previously and now are free from that. To control the spread of the chickenpox, we have to notify that the presence of chickenpox in an individual and then isolating them for the first 6 days after the appearance of the rash. So at the time of the rash till the pustula stage, it is infective. So after the pustula stage, scab and crust, they are not infective. So during this first 6 days after the appearance of rash, they have to be isolated. Disinfection of articles soiled by nose and throat discharge. As I already said, the fomites are the main reasons for the spread to the nearby individuals. So disinfecting them prevents the spread and control of the chickenpox. Antiviral drugs. Antiviral drugs which can be given includes acyclovir, valacyclovir, famiciclovir, foscarnet. Acyclovir prevents the development of systemic disease in varicella infected, immunocompromised patients and can halt the progression of zoster in adults. So acyclovir is most preferred to prevent the progression of zoster in adults. But acyclovir does not prevent the post-herpetic neuralgia. This is, you must know this, because it does not prevent the post-herpetic neuralgia, but it decreases or halts the progression of zoster in adults. Prevention can be done using both immunoglobulin and vaccine. Immunoglobulin is usually given within the 72 hours of exposure in exposed susceptible individuals. Susceptible individual means who can easily get this infection, mainly the immunocompromised individuals. The first 3 conditions where you have to give this immunoglobulin is included in this immunocompromised individuals. Susceptible persons, that is immunosuppressive therapy, those who are taking immunosuppressive therapy can be given the immunoglobulin. And in patients with congenital cellular immunodeficiency, as CMI plays a role against this chickenpox, those who have congenital cellular immunodeficiency can be given immunoglobulin prior to prevent this infection. Then persons with acquired immunodeficiency diseases like HIV or AIDS. Then the fourth one here, this is with the pregnant women. Pregnant women who are susceptible and exposed to patients, then they can be given this immunoglobulin. For the newborns whose mother is already a infected patient with chickenpox, they can also be given immunoglobulin, or whose mother got infection after 5 days can also be given immunoglobulin. So premature infants of low birth weight can be given immunoglobulin. No therapeutic value in established diseases. As in established diseases, immunoglobulin has no value. In case of susceptible cases and immunocompromised individuals, you can give this immunoglobulin. It is given as an IM dose 12.5 units per kg up to a maximum of 625 units. Dose is repeated in 3 weeks. The second dose is repeated in 3 weeks. Now we can come into the vaccine. Vaccine part, live attenuated varicella virus vaccine is given. Mostly it is given to the children of 12 to 18 months, because before this mostly children has the immunity from the mother's antibodies, that is breast milk antibodies, which prevents them from causing this infection. So to 12 to 18 months children who had no chickenpox can be given this vaccine. Vaccine can be of 2 types, monovalent vaccine and combined vaccine, which is MMRV vaccine. Monovalent vaccine, it is usually given in 1 or 2 dose schedules. 0.5 ml subcutaneous injection is given. So 2 dose schedule, now we will see. 2 dose schedule is usually given for ages above 13 years. Minimum interval between the 2 doses should be kept in mind that 6 weeks to 3 months interval for 12 months to 12 years old babies, and for 13 years and above 13 years, 4 to 6 week interval should be given for the first dose and second dose. Combination vaccines, which includes MMRV. Here, Children from 9 months to 12 years can be given this vaccine. If 2 doses are given, minimum interval should be between these 2 doses as 4 weeks, and the preferred interval should be 6 weeks to 3 months after the first dose, or 4 to 6 years of age. So this preferred interval for the second dose, but minimum it should be 1 week, 1 month or 4 weeks. Then duration of immunity. Duration of immunity is for 10 years probably, but not sure, and not how much years in this immunity it is not known. Prevent disease, but breakthrough infections occur, because this vaccine can prevent the disease, but breakthrough infections can occur. Even if the infection occurs, they are usually milder than the normal infection without vaccines. Adverse effects. Adverse effects usually occurs 4 to 6 weeks after the injection of the vaccine. Here, tenderness and erythema is most common, 25%, fever 10 to 15%, localized maculopapular or vesicular rash, which is 5%, diffuse rash, which is smaller, that is 5 or fewer vesicular lesion rash, which is less than 1%, that is smaller percentage are seen. Spread of viruses from vaccine to susceptible individuals is possible, but even if the spread is occurring, the risk is very small and minimum. Even when the disease develops, it is mild and treatable with acyclovir. So the virus which is getting infected from the vaccines, it is very milder and it can be treated with acyclovir. So no much complications are seen with these vaccines. Live attenuated viruses should not be given to immunocompromised individuals or pregnant women. So only immunoglobulins can be given for these individuals. It may be given in HIV infected children or adults with CD4 T cell count greater than 15%, including those receiving antiretroviral therapy. If the adults have the CD4 count greater than 15%, even if they are taking treatment for AIDS which is a high level antiretroviral therapy, they can be given this vaccine. But in immunocompromised individuals and pregnant women, it is contraindicated. Immunocompromised individual means HIV having the CD4 count in a very less number. Then it is also contraindicated in patients allergic to neomycin, because neomycin is used as an adjuvant in this vaccine, which we see in the vaccine chapter. Salicylate should be avoided for the first 6 weeks. As we see that Reese syndrome is a complication of this vaccine. Here, complication of this chickenpox and this vaccine, here giving salicylates within 6 weeks of vaccination can develop Reese syndrome. Then unresolved issues. These are the unresolved issues because we don't know whether to give booster doses which is necessary or not. Then universal child vaccination will shift the incidence of disease to adolescent or adulthood. We don't know whether if you are giving vaccination in childhood, if it shifts that incidence of disease to adulthood or adolescent, it can be very severe, as we have already seen that in adults the disease is more severe than in children. And then whether it prevents herpes zoster or not. These are the unsolved issues in chickenpox. Now we have completed the laboratory diagnosis, treatment and prevention of chickenpox. In the next video, we'll see about the differences between chickenpox and smallpox. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel for regular updates.